Have you ever wondered if the coffee you drink every day could be affecting your blood pressure? Is it a problem for those with high blood pressure? Or could it even help control it? If you've been wondering about this, stick with me, because in this video, I'll show you, based on studies, how coffee really impacts your health and what you should know before your next cup. If you've ever felt that moment of concern with your heart racing after a coffee, or if you're trying to better understand how to take care of your health, this video will help you make more informed decisions. I'll break down the effects of coffee on blood pressure, both short-term and long-term, and by the end, you'll know if you can keep enjoying your daily dose without worry. So, if you want to learn how to balance the enjoyment of coffee with taking care of your blood pressure and discover how it could impact your routine, stay until the end. This video could make a real difference to your health. Coffee is much more than just an energy boost to start the day. Inside each cup is a mix of compounds that, unseen, start acting in our body from the first sip. Caffeine, the main player behind coffee's stimulating effect, doesn't just keep us awake. It also affects vital functions, including blood pressure. But is it only caffeine that impacts our cardiovascular health? There are other compounds in coffee, like antioxidants, that might play a positive role and aren't always mentioned. When caffeine enters the body, it directly affects the central nervous system by blocking a neurotransmitter called adenosine, which usually helps us feel relaxed and sleepy. By blocking this neurotransmitter, the body responds by releasing more adrenaline, the hormone that prepares the body for action, raising heart rate and, in turn, increasing blood pressure. This effect can be more intense in the hours following consumption, causing a spike that can last for a while. For those sensitive to caffeine, this rise may be even more noticeable, potentially causing discomfort in extreme cases. But coffee isn't just a villain. While caffeine can raise blood pressure temporarily, other compounds in coffee, like antioxidants, have the opposite effect, helping to protect the heart and combat inflammation. These mixed effects mean that coffee's impact varies from person to person, making drinking it a unique experience full of nuance. What happens to your body when you take that cup of coffee? Behind the feeling of alertness and energy, there's a chain reaction that might surprise you. As soon as caffeine enters your system, it starts acting as a powerful stimulant, prompting your brain to produce more adrenaline. This is the same hormone released when we're in dangerous situations, making the heart beat faster and preparing the body for fight or flight. Naturally, this results in a temporary increase in blood pressure. But that's not the end of it. Caffeine also causes blood vessels to constrict, which makes blood flow more challenging and contributes even more to the rise in pressure. This effect is especially risky for people already dealing with hypertension, as their bodies may struggle to handle these sudden spikes. Interestingly, this impact is more common in people who don't drink coffee regularly or are more sensitive to caffeine. For some, this increase in blood pressure may be barely noticeable, but for others, it can lead to immediate symptoms like palpitations, dizziness, or even headaches. The situation can worsen if coffee is consumed in large amounts or in short intervals, which can intensify these effects. And if you often feel your heart racing after a few cups, now you know coffee is leaving its mark on your cardiovascular system. Scientific studies on coffee and its effects on blood pressure reveal a scenario that's both concerning and fascinating. In numerous studies, caffeine has been shown to increase blood pressure, especially in individuals who aren't regular coffee drinkers. However, there's another side to the story. For those who drink coffee daily, the body may build a tolerance, making the effects on blood pressure less intense over time. But is this adaptation really safe? Or are we just ignoring warning signs? Scientists have found that for some people, frequent coffee consumption might not have a significant long-term impact on blood pressure, but that doesn't mean coffee is harmless. In other cases, the same studies suggest that even with adaptation, coffee can keep blood pressure elevated, especially in those with a predisposition to hypertension. It's as if the body has gotten used to the stimulation, but is still paying a long-term price, even if you don't notice it right away. And it doesn't stop there. Some research suggests that coffee's impact varies not only from person to person, but also depending on the amount consumed and each person's health status. While a few cups may not pose much of a problem for a healthy person, for someone with high blood pressure, this habit might be speeding up a silent process of damage to arteries and the heart, even if no visible symptoms show up initially. So, what could coffee be doing to you, even when it seems harmless? If you have hypertension, your relationship with coffee might be more dangerous than you think. The sense of relief and energy a cup brings can mask the real impact happening inside your body. Many people believe they need to avoid coffee completely, but the truth is more complex and darker. While some can tolerate small doses without much trouble, others could be playing with fire, unaware of the risks they're taking with every sip. The big question is, should people with high blood pressure avoid coffee at all costs? Studies show that caffeine's effect can be more intense for those already dealing with hypertension, making coffee a true trigger for unexpected crises. You might not feel anything immediately, but beneath the calm surface, your cardiovascular system could be in full storm mode, preparing for a strain that, over time, may take a heavy toll on your heart. But how can you tell if you're someone who should cut out coffee entirely? The problem is that symptoms are often silent. That simple morning pleasure might be raising your blood pressure without you noticing, and by the time signs appear, it could be too late. It's this uncertain game that many people with hypertension find themselves in, not knowing if they're in control or on the edge of a breakdown. When it comes to decaf coffee, many believe they're making the safe choice, but are they really free from the effects on blood pressure? What few people realize is that decaf still contains traces of caffeine, and even small amounts can affect the body in unexpected ways. Simply switching from regular coffee to decaf might seem like an obvious solution, but this choice hides a truth that few are prepared to hear. Decaf coffee, though it has a much lower caffeine concentration, isn't entirely harmless. Studies show that some decaffeination processes still leave traces that can trigger reactions in more sensitive individuals. While many think they're choosing a safe alternative, they might just be masking the same subtle effects caffeine has on the body, unaware of the long-term impact. Decaf can be a wolf in sheep's clothing, quietly affecting your cardiovascular system. For those with hypertension, decaf might seem like the perfect solution, but is it really? Even without the extreme caffeine spikes, the body can still react in unpredictable ways. And the worst part, people who switch to decaf might let their guard down when it comes to monitoring blood pressure, thinking the danger has passed. But what if that sense of security is just an illusion? What else might be happening behind this safe coffee? Coffee may be just one piece of the puzzle, but when it comes to managing blood pressure, other, darker factors are at play. It's not enough to just watch your coffee intake. What's really impacting your health might be far beyond your daily cup. The lifestyle you lead, the foods you choose, and even day-to-day stress could be fueling an invisible cycle that affects your blood pressure in ways you might never have imagined. Have you ever wondered why, even after cutting out coffee, your blood pressure remains high? The truth is, for those battling hypertension, coffee is only one of many culprits. High sodium diets, lack of regular exercise, and even poor sleep could be silently raising your blood pressure while you look for answers in a cup. While you focus on coffee, other daily choices are stirring up a storm inside your body. And stress? Oh, stress. It might be the most treacherous enemy of all. Blood pressure rises silently as your mind tries to cope with the demands of work, family, and everyday life. Coffee, often used as a quick fix to boost productivity, ends up being just a mask for the true underlying problem. While you sip to relax, the world around you keeps piling on the pressure, raising your blood pressure little by little without you noticing. If you love coffee but worry about blood pressure, there are ways to keep enjoying it without spiraling into anxiety. However, the solutions might not be as simple as cutting back by a cup or two. For many, the key lies in noticing how the body reacts with each dose. But even then, this approach can feel like walking on the edge of a cliff. Small adjustments to your coffee intake can make a difference. But is that enough to keep the danger at bay? A common strategy for those who don't want to give up coffee is to gradually reduce the amount or alternate each cup with water, diluting caffeine's effect. Sounds simple, right? But the body has its own ways of responding, and sometimes these tweaks aren't enough to prevent changes in blood pressure. The problem is, many only realize this when more severe symptoms appear. A quickened heartbeat, a bit of dizziness, and by then, it might be too late to turn back. What started as a morning pleasure now becomes a game of Russian roulette with your health. Plus, the subtle signs your body sends after drinking coffee are easy to ignore. The jitters or mild discomfort you feel might be more than just a temporary reaction. They could be warnings that something deeper is going on. And the more you overlook these signs, the easier it becomes to lose control. Like a habit that starts small, your daily coffee routine might be building a risky situation without you realizing. What seems harmless at first glance could turn into a trap. Now that you know the hidden risks of coffee and how it can impact your blood pressure, the decision is yours. If you've made it this far, you've already taken the first step toward better health. Now, how about the next? Monitor how your body responds to coffee. Pay attention to the signs, and, most importantly, share in the comments how you've been handling this issue. Have you noticed changes in your blood pressure when drinking coffee? If you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. Here, we dive deep into health topics that many ignore, bringing you the truth. And remember, taking care of your health starts with small decisions. So, why not start now? See you in the next video.